Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nelo and you're watching Nelo Stitches. Today tutorial we're learning how to cut and sew this beautiful simple dress. It's really very easy to make. For this I made use of 3 yards of fabric. So what I did first was to cut out my measurements plus extra 10 inches. Okay, so but what you would do is to fold into two. Like me, I folded into four. Okay, I'm going to use pieces to show you how I fold. So but to make it easier for you, you just cut with your biggest measurement, which is your hip, or it could be your bust. So your biggest measurement divide by 4 plus extra 5 inches and you fold. And then for the back pieces, your biggest measurement divide by 4 plus extra 7 inches because you need your zipper allowance. So that is how I calculated this, and then I come up with this. I folded into 4 as you see on the screen. Okay, so what I'll do next is to mark my neck width of 3.5 inches. That's the neck width I'm working with, and the neck depth of 3.5 also for the front, and 1 inch for the back. Okay, 1 inch for the back. This is because I'm cutting the back and the front together. Like I said, I folded mine into 4. So what you would do is your biggest measurement, which is could be your hip. So your hip divide by, or if you want to fold the way I folded, what you would do is your hip plus extra 10 inches. Okay, your hip or your biggest measurement plus extra 10 inches. So this chalk is really not that visible, and I'm trying out different colors of chalk and it's still not working. So I'm just going to make do with a school chalk. This is it. It's very messy, but let's just go with that. So I mark my bust line, which is 11, my waistline, which is 17, and then my hip line is 27. So what else, another thing you can do is to measure from your waist to your hip. So in my case is 10. So your case, it could be 9, it could be 8. Okay, depend on your height. And then next I'm going to add 4 inches to that. From the hip line I come down by 4 like this. Okay, that will give it that circular basque effect at the front and the back also. So next I'm going to be taking my measurement, my hip divide by 4 plus extra 1.5 or 1 inch allowance. Okay, I used 1 inch. So next I'm going to be marking my dart. So this is 4 inches, my nipple to nipple measurement. So on the thumbnail, the actual dress was joined at the waistline. The skirt was cut separately and the upper bodies was cut separately. But in my case, I want to make them together. So you can also do that. So from the hip line, I go up by 2 inches and I'll mark my 4-inch nipple to nipple measurement there. So I'll connect the line straight. Like I was saying before, you can cut your skirt separate and the upper body separate, but I'm doing mine together. So I marked 0.75 on both sides of the dart. This is at the waistline and I'm going to connect. So from the bust line here, I come down by 1 inch. Okay, I don't want my dart to get to the nipple part, to the bust line. So you come down by 1 inch. Okay, so I'm trying to mark this with the other chalk, but still, because that school chalk is really messy, but I'm going to use it to highlight what I marked because I notice it's not visible. So next I'm going to mark my waist, divide by 4 plus that intake of 1.5 and then 1 inch for sewing allowance. The same goes to the um bust line. I went from the bust line, you go up by 2 inches. This is for my armhole. Okay, this is for my armhole, and then I'm going to mark my bust divide by 4 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. I'll do the same on the chest line. So here I'm going to mark my shoulder. What I use for the shoulder is 7.5. I'm going to mark that here, and then I'll connect with 7 with a straight line, sorry. So the 7.5 is gotten from my chest divide by, my shoulder divide by 2. Shoulder is 15 divided by 2. So I slant my shoulder with 1 inch, and I'm going to get the midpoint of this, and I'll come in by half an inch to connect my armhole. Okay, so I'll just curve this to meet this point like so. Okay, you can use your your armhole curve if you have one like this. You can use it, okay? But I just use my free hand, no time. Okay, so next I'm just going to bring out this waistline here, and I'll go in by half an inch, and I'll remark the half an inch on this side. I replaced it on that side. Okay, so I'll just connect this upward like this to the bust line and downward towards the hip line. Okay, this is the hip line, so I'll connect it down towards the hip line. This is to eliminate zipper bulge at the back, so you replace it at the side, which is this other side. Okay, so here I'm going to connect like so, connecting on my mark. So I'll still connect the normal waistline because it's not going to be at the front. What I added is just for the back panel, so that is why you need to separate this. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. As you can see, I have 2 lines on the waistline. One is for the front while the other one is for the back. So when I'm cutting it, I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So I'm just kind of highlighting this, that area, so that you guys can see it clearly. So for this down part, I'm going to connect from the hip line with a curve down to the 4 inches I marked below like this. Okay, so we form our back effect now, and I'm going to cut this out. So first of all, I added half an inch to the back side, the lower side. So I'm going to be cutting this first line here. Okay, that's the back panel. I'm going to be cutting this first line at the waist. Remember, I replaced the half inch, so that is the side I am cutting now. And then I'm going to cut the back neckline, and I'm going to cut the armhole, the shoulder slants, and then the back neckline first of all. Okay, so now I'm going to cut the front line like this. I'm not cutting together with the back, I'm cutting only the front. Okay, this is it. Remember, I replaced the half inch I cut out from the back. This one that I'm cutting out here, this part here, I replaced the half inch on the other side. That is why the back is longer than the front. When joining it, you see that they are together. So I didn't cut it well, so I'm trying to trim it very well. Okay, so this is the front panel, and here is the back. The back is a bit longer. That is because I replaced the half inch I cut out from the back waist, the zipper side. Okay, so after joining your zipper and you want to shape your dress, you notice that they are now equal. But if you leave it like that, both for the front and back, the front will now be longer, wider than the back. Okay, I hope this is clear enough. If you don't understand, you can ask me on the comment section. So I'm trying to pin my dart because I want to trace it at the back side. So I'm pinning my dart area so that I can mark the same thing at the back. So you pin your darts like so, and I flip it over. So I'll just follow the pins and connect my dart. Okay, so I'm following my pins. That is why I'm seeing my pins. I know you guys are not seeing it clearly, but I'm seeing my pins, and that is what I'm following to trace my dart. Okay, so if you want, you can also cut this separate, cut the back separate, cut the front separate. But me, I'm in a little bit of a hurry, so I just want to cut everything together. Okay, so now let's cut facing for the front. So I folded another pieces into 2, and I'll place the front panel on it like so, and I'll trace out the neckline and the shoulder area. Okay, so now I'll be marking for 4 inches for my um facing, and I'll connect that together and I'll cut out. Okay, so here is the facing for the front. You're going to do the same to the back panel. So here I've done sewing my darts, and I've also turned the neckline with the facing, and you flip over and top stitch on the neckline. So here is the back panel. I also fix my zip and sew my dart. I'll also turn the back neckline. So here it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do this so that you have a neat finish at the neckline and the zipper side. So I turn the neckline and I sew down the zipper area so that when you flip it over, it's going to look like this, neat on the inside and neat on the outside. So let me use the second part and show you. So you're going to place your facing right side facing the right side and you sew this way. Okay, that is how you're going to sew it, and you join the two shoulders of your dress together. Okay, you join the two shoulders together. Okay, so for the sleeve, what you do is, this is the pieces I've cut out for my sleeve. So how I got this was, I measured from my shoulder line down to where I want the sleeve to stop, and it's 7 inches where I want the sleeve to stop, 7 here. So remember, this is for the front and back, so 7 plus 7 is 14. So you cut times 2 of 14, which is 24. Okay, you can cut times 2 or times 3, but I did times 2, which is 24. Okay, 14 times 2 is 24. That is what I cut, and the width here is 5 inches. By the time I fold it down with 1 inch and join the sleeve with half an inch, I'm going to have 1.5 inch left. Okay, I mean 3.5 inch left. Okay, so for the down part, I'm going to measure like so. What I have here, I'll times it by 2. Okay, so it's 54. What I got, the front side, you measure the front, you measure the back. Excuse me. Or you can shape before you measure round. Okay, you can either shape your dress and measure round the down part and know how much fabric you cut. So here, remember, the length I'm working with is 40, and the what is it called, the hip line is 27. So 27 minus 40, I have 13 left. So the length of this is 13, and then the width is times 2 of my hip measurement. Okay, so here I want to fix the sleeve. What I'll do is to measure out the 7 inches from the shoulder here down like so. I'll mark the 7 inches, and I'll do the same on every other side. Just measure from the shoulder down to where your sleeve is, and you gather your sleeve to that measurement. Okay, and notch the midpoint of the ruffle sleeve, and then you fix it. So after gathering my sleeve, I'm going to measure to be sure it's 14. Okay, so it's not up to, it's 13. So I'm just going to free it a little bit to be 14. And after that, you fold into 2 and notch the middle part of it. Okay, so you notch the midpoint of this. After notching the midpoint, you place the midpoint right side facing the right side of the shoulder like this, the midpoint on the shoulder, and then you make sure it matches like so, and then you sew like this. Okay, so I'm just going to go and do that and I'll show us. So here it is. I fixed the sleeve. So now we're going to pipe this armhole side. Okay, so what I have here is a strap of 1.5, and I'm going to fold it into 2 like this, and I'll place it like so, and then pipe the armhole with it like this. Okay, so I've done that, and I'll be cutting out the excess I have so that it will not be bulging out when I want to top stitch on the armhole. Okay, so what you do next is to fold it like so, inward like this, and then so you conceal that rough edge and you will not be seeing it again. So I'll go and do that. So here I've shaped my dress, and what I'll do is to measure it round. Okay, like I said, you shape your dress like this first, and then you measure round. Whatever you have, you cut times 2 or times 3 of it for your gathers at the down part. Okay, so I'm done gathering my, and I'm just trying to check. So what I have is 54, so 52. So you can either do 52 times 2 or times 3, and then you gather it. So I've gathered my, and it's now 54. I'm just going to close up one side. I'll just close up this side that is open, and then I'll fix my gathers to the skirt. Remember your length, your hip line, then the length of your dress. So you're going to place it right side facing each other like this, and then you gather it, and that's all. This is the final look of the dress. So like I was trying to say before, you minus your hip line from the length of the dress you're making. That will give you the measurement you need for your ruffle, the down gathers. Okay, mine was 40 minus 27, I had 13. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any question, do ask me on the comment below. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.